You can tell it's definitely a project. It's Snapchat, the half...
We make the strings louder.
Alright, so what we're doing now is Brandon's applying this it's icing, so it's kind of a thin, really thin body filler. So it, unlike the regular body filler where you get like little pinholes and stuff in it, this stuff goes, flows out really smooth and kind of sinks into all the scratches, and it sands really easy too. So just kind of going over that and then blocking that with an 80 grit. And I think pretty much after that, then we'll pretty much be ready for the primer, right?
Yeah.
Aside from my soul.
Alright, so yeah, we're doing, or I'm kind of doing, Brandon came over a little bit ago and kind of helped me a little bit with skimming the roof and the other quarter panel. He went ahead and laid this down, so I went ahead and blocked that down. So yeah, this stuff that we're using is basically it's called icing. It's a finishing putty, so stain free, tack free, easy to sand. Essentially that's what it is. It's easy to sand. It doesn't really get super tacky, like I explained in one of the last videos. You can kind of see how the sandpaper was kind of clogging up. This doesn't do it as bad. It still does it. Right here, this is some 180 grit on there, but that's kind of the bottom of it after doing a little bit. I got the front fender, there's some dimples on that, and I think that's pretty much the only work I'm going to have to do to the front fenders. Yeah, why is the Supra taking me so long? So essentially it's just pretty much me and Brandon doing the body work on this. Brandon works pretty much all day, like 8 to 10 hours, sometimes 12 hours a day over at his shop doing body work, so he does this all day anyhow. And then he comes over and spends, a couple hours at night on a couple of random days. So it's not consecutive, it's not like every night, it's here and there. And I really do appreciate his help on this. And like I said, he's kind of, I'm pretty much a self-taught bodywork guy. I've done the paint and bodywork on like my Datsun that's under there, the S14, done all that stuff, but I've never really wanted, I've always wanted like the show quality shine or the show quality bodywork. But yeah, that's kind of why Brandon's helping me with this. We're making sure we're doing it, 100% right. It's going to be, essentially almost as flawless as it can be. And so yeah, that's why he's helping me out with it. That's why I'm kind of taking my time and I'm not, going crazy on it. Also, this isn't, a TV show, and I'm actually taking you guys along with the process of doing the bodywork. A lot of TV shows, they don't show this whole process because they don't want you thinking that there's a whole bunch of filler on the panel. I kind of feel like there's a huge misconception on body filler or Bondo, which Bondo is a brand and body filler is actually what we're using. It's a 3M body filler, but it's quality body filler, and there's not a whole lot on there. Yes, there is covering the whole panel, but it's not like there's a half an inch thick on there. It's 1/8 to 1/4 or usually less, and it's mostly just a skim, so that you could actually get the panel really straight. And that's really hard to do, just bare metal, these things coming from Toyota, they weren't perfect from the factory. And so yeah, we're trying to get it as close to perfect as we can. And, definitely takes time, only 2 guys working on it. When you have a TV show, they don't, like I said, they don't show you this process, but even the little bit that they do, they have like 8 guys on one car. And imagine how fast this would go if 2 guys were working on this quarter panel, and that's all they were doing for the day. They didn't have 8 hours of body work that they already did that day. But yeah, so yeah, but essentially it just takes time to do it correctly. And as you notice, we're doing everything on here by hand, with the sanding blocks and stuff. And that takes a lot of time as well. We could use like an air file sander or DA, but you just don't get, you can't fill it as much. You can't control, as much, how much material you get off. But yeah. So now I'm getting ready to do basically what I did in the last video, which is weld some studs to this guy right here, pull out, you know, this is going to be covered with a side skirt, but, you know, in the case, let's say the side skirt falls off, I don't want, you know, random dings and dents and random shit underneath that. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that. There's some scratches right here, or little dents and stuff right there. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that as well. So yeah, by the end of this video, it should be in primer. So hopefully you guys are excited about that. We're getting close. Like I said, you know, it's the filler, the blocking, and then you hit it with this, the kind of the skim coat of the like the finishing putty. That's pretty easy to sand. And kind of once he comes over here tomorrow and kind of gives a final approval on this, we'll you know, skim some more spots on the car, and essentially then the body is going to be ready to prime. I still need to do a little bit more work on these doors myself. I'm not sure if I'm doing those tonight, but yeah, so everything should be primed by the end of this video. If you guys are patient enough to stick around with me, you guys will see a little bit of the process. So that's pretty much going to end it for today. Well, this is, you know, day one of bodywork since the last bodywork video. Didn't do a whole lot of filming today. There's basically a lot of the skimming. I got the rest of this, that lower rocker panel. That's all skimmed and pretty much ready to go. Actually, I don't know if I showed you guys that. So this is the one where I had to do some more pulling out. I filled it with the body filler, and then I kind of skimmed it with the other stuff. So that's pretty much ready to go. On this side of the car, I skimmed that lower rocker as well. So that thing looks really good. The top of this quarter panel is pretty good. The roof's pretty good. A few little things kind of need to touch up here and there. But the primer is going to fill in a lot of that stuff. So primarily, what's going to need the most work is going to be the doors, which I already did a little piece on that. And this bottom piece right here, need to kind of put a little bit more of that line in it. But yeah, so that's getting pretty close. So kind of swept. I've been sweeping up pretty much every day. So that's how much filler was sanded off to. There's a little bit of you know, dirt and dust in there, but yeah, that's how much filler, you know, basically came off the sanding blocks today. Which I don't know, if those of you guys who've done body work, you know how much of a pain in the ass it is, and just sanding back and forth all day. But yeah, once you kind of get in the rhythm of it, and you know, it goes fairly quick. But yeah, more tomorrow. Alright guys, so today we got the epoxy primer, shaking it up a little bit. We're gonna epoxy prime it and then high build prime it.
There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. There goes a sight from my soul. I think it's all angels.
The booth right now. So this is basically just the first coat of the epoxy primer, and so we're basically just gonna kind of let that flash off, and as soon as it's kind of done, we'll go ahead and hit it with a high build primer.
Walk by. I think it's all angels just walk by. I think it's all angels just walk by. I think it's all angels just walk by.
So right now that is just the high build primer that's going on top of the epoxy primer. I think we'll probably do 2 coats of that. And it is a like a 2-part, so it has hardener and stuff in it too. So it builds up really thick, and it actually hardens really good. So you know, after about a week, it should really shrink much more than that. So it yeah, I got a little here's a time lapse. Brandon in there painting. It's kind of weird, like watching somebody else paint my my stuff, because this is actually probably the first time, other than like just dicking around, like letting my buddies like, you know, give her a rib. But yeah, this is the paint booth. This is used to be owned by this other company, but it's got like kind of an interesting paint job on it. Right, Jesse?
Dude, keep it Hoonigan.
Some other stuff they're working on.
I wore the fanboy shirt today for the christening of the Supra. I wore it. I wore the fanboy shirt for fucking the Supra christening, dude. Look how.
Oh, bud.
Look how fanboy I am.
Jesse's
today.
a fanboy. There she is in primer.
Now there goes a sight from my there goes a there goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul.